So first thing I want to do is when we add the fruit, I think I'm going to create a little printout here that says you added str name. Okay. And then the next thing I want to do is let's list the fruit. So here is going to be my for loop for OB fruit in LI fruit. Print OB fruit. Oops, I don't need the quotes. It's not going to be a string, just the object. Okay, so this already is doing some stuff for me. If I want to add a fruit, what is the fruit name? Grapes. 12 and 2, 34. So I added grapes. Now if I view the fruit list, there's my grapes. Okay. So it's gonna keep all of that lined up. If I say add a fruit, banana, 34, 560, bananas are a ripoff. Must be like Sprouts or something. 4, there we go. All right, so now you can see this is what that looks like. And I can exit. So that's not too bad. If I want to remove a fruit, I can use this code again, copy, for OB fruit in LI fruit. This time, I want to print an index. So int index equals 0. And now I'm going to print int index comma OB fruit. And I'm going to int index plus equals 1. So now, here's how I enumerate the fruit in a simple way. If I want to remove a fruit, I don't have any fruit. Let's see, 1, G, 3, 4. Let's add another one, E, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to now list my fruit. There's my fruit. And if I want to remove a fruit, now you can see it prints this index in front of it. Because what I need to do is I need to ask which thing I want to remove. So if I say this, int index equals input, type the index of, or let's just say the number of the fruit to remove. Okay, so I'm typing that, and I want it to be an integer because I need to be able to use that as an integer. So I'm going to change it. And I'm going to say here, I'm going to say li fruit dot pop, and I'm going to give it the int index, not the full one, but that. Okay, so that's all I'm doing is I'm listing them all out with these numbers by them, and then I'm asking, type the number you want to remove, and then I'm just using pop, which we use to remove things from a list. So this is all going back through things that we've already learned. It's just adding them together now in a new way. And that's a lot of what programming is. So we've got add a fruit, and we'll add another one, Y56. Okay, so now I want to remove a fruit, right? It gives me those numbers, and if I want to remove Y, I type 1. And now if I view the list, Y is gone. Okay, so that's it. That's for changing this. But now I have a model for how to do things to a specific fruit in my list. So I can use this code over and over I'm asking for a number of the thing I want to do something to, and then I just do something different to it. So if I copy that, so I add fruit, I remove fruit. Now I want to change the quantity. I'm going to start out with that same code. To change int quantity equals int input type the new quantity. And instead of pop now, I'm going to say li fruit, and I'm going to use the index that I just gave it, or I just typed in. And then I'm going to call set number, and I'm going to give it that quantity. And that's it. It calls that setter, gives it the new number, and that's it. So let's test this. Run it again. So let's add a fruit. E45. Okay, so there's my fruit list. I have 4 of those at $5 each. Let's say I want to change the quantity. Change the quantity. Type 0 for the number of fruit that I want to change, and change the quantity to 10. And now if I view my list again, it's changed the quantity to 10. So what seems like a very complicated program actually involves the creation of a fairly simple object. Notice it doesn't have any straight properties that are defined. They're all defined here in the initializer, which is totally fine to do. And then we have a string that we're using over and over and over to print out the fruit in an organized way. And then we have, right, the set number setter, which is the only thing we're gonna change about the fruit externally, and set up the list. Then we just are going into a while loop, just like before, where we're printing a basic menu. We're doing the menu options. We've done this a bunch of times in this class, so you should feel fairly comfortable with this operation now. But when we create it, we're just getting those things that we need to create the fruit, and then we're appending the fruit to that list. For the next two, we're doing something very similar, right? We're listing the fruit. Now, in this repetitive code here, I could create a function, not a method that's part of the fruit class, but a function that's part of the main program. It would shorten my program and make debugging a little bit easier, but that's only 4 lines of repeated code. So it's not a huge sin to do that. It's very similar. We're asking the person to choose the number of the fruit they want to do something with. In this case, we're just popping it. Now, I can return this. Remember, pop returns that thing that you popped. So I could say ob fruit equals that, and then I could say print you removed ob fruit str name if I wanted to. Now, that is a bit of a gray area there because I'm directly accessing that property. So I probably should make a getter for this, which I could use there, but that's another way you can use that thing that's returned as it's being popped from that list. So I pop it from the list in this case, and in this case, I'm asking for the index and the new quantity, and so I'm using the index here to identify which fruit I want, and calling the set number setter, giving it the new number as an argument. And then, of course, on this one, I'm just printing out the fruit. Again, I could use the same thing for each one of those. I could use an external function, but I don't have to. And then, of course, just exiting the program there. Now, I could go a lot deeper with this. If I wanted to make this a higher quality program, the first thing I would do is I would do some checking on all of the user input before just converting it, because I'm flying really dangerously here with those things. So anytime I'm changing an input there, I would want to probably use a try and accept a block, or at least do a little bit of look before you leap kind of checking. And those are the big things I would probably do to make sure that my program was not so fragile. But there's the class.